Chapter 7. The Last Straw. Pinky was worried as Batman picked her and the rest of them up that night to go to Arkham. Fluttershy was missing, and Pinky hadn't seen her all day. Twilight told her not to worry about her since she was probably with Croc, and Croc would never hurt her. Pinky knew that her pinky sense would let her know if any of her friends were ever in danger. However, she was still worried. Most of the other ponies, as they had begun helping their new friends, got slowly larger every night. They shrank when Batman carried them around or put them in their cells. But whenever they were helping their friends, they were growing steadily as the inmates at Arkham progressed. Penguin had been getting lessons from a reasonably sized Rarity, and Croc had even given Fluttershy a hug. However, Pinky was still pretty small. She watched as Batman tossed Derpy into her cell, and she expanded automatically to full size.
"Muffy?"
she said, handing one to her new friend. As they approached Croc's cell, they could hear someone crying. "Croc, what's wrong?" asked Batman, looking into the cell. Croc looked up at him. His eyes were red from crying, and he looked exhausted. As he started to speak, it was apparent he was on drugs.
"He's taking her. You gotta do something. I already tried breaking out, but the doctors put a stop to that."
"Who's taking her?" asked Batman. Croc shakily held up a small wad of paper, mud, and string in the crude shape of a pony.
"He switched her after we had our free time. He's got her in his cell. You gotta save her."
After he had said this, Croc finally succumbed to the drugs in the system and keeled over onto the ground. Pinky stuck her head out of Batman's utility belt as laughter echoed down the hallway. She felt her blood run cold.
"Come play," said the Joker from the cell. "I've already got one of your little ponies. Who's in charge now?"
Every cell in the hallway went dead silent.
"That's right," said the Joker, chuckling. "All you sissies have been making friends. I'm the only one who sees the truth. I'm the only one of you lily-livered slackers who has the gumption to do what needs to be done. Hey, Pinkie Pie, want to see how your friend is doing?"
Batman stepped up to Joker's cell and peered in. There stood Joker, his right hand grasping Fluttershy while his left finger twitched near her neck.
"Step aside, Batman. I'm not interested in you. I want to talk to that penguin who thinks she can cure me."
Pinky hopped up onto Joker's door and looked in. Joker smiled.
"Hello there, little Miss Psychiatrist. So you thought you could cure me? Me, the clown prince of crime? Look upon what your little therapy sessions have wrought and tell me, was it worth it? I'm going to snap your little friend's neck unless you decide I'm better off crazy."
Batman's fists clenched. Pinky's eyes narrowed as Fluttershy whimpered and the Joker continued.
"I mean, after all, what's more important, saving one of your precious pony friends or curing me?"
Batman's hand moved towards the batarangs in his utility belt, but froze as a loud voice resounded through his ears.
"You shall not harm my little ponies."
Batman saw Rusty's horn glow out of the corner of his eye, and watched as Joker's body was surrounded by a glowing yellow field. He dropped Fluttershy to the ground and shot up head first into the ceiling. Fluttershy flew quickly out of the cell, and Joker landed on the floor with a resounding headache. Pinkie Pie smiled and sighed as Fluttershy flew safely out of the cell. Then her face fell. Her hair deflated, her pupils dilated in twin specks, and Batman was positive that her pink color darkened. Dropping into Joker's cell, she advanced on him, saying,
"Fluttershy? You would hurt poor little Fluttershy? Really? That's so low, I don't even know what to say. Batman, take the rest of the ponies to see their friends. I've got some psychiatry to do."
Batman left the cell behind and pulled Rarity out of his utility belt. Pinky watched him leave, then her gaze slowly shifted to the wall to the right of the Joker, who was huddling in a corner whimpering.
"Go narrate somewhere else. This part of the story isn't going to be G-rated."
Batman stood outside a penguin's cell, handing Rarity to him. They were looking at Joker's cell, wondering what kind of things were going on inside. The cell was dead silent. Never thought I'd pity him, said Penguin, shaking his head.
Me neither,
said Batman under his breath. Batman handed out the rest of the ponies and left Arkham. As he drove back to the Batcave, he wondered if the Joker would be okay. He couldn't get that look on Pinky's face out of his mind.
He'll be fine,
said Celestia.
Our student Twilight has nothing but good things to say about Pinky.
But that look on her face, what if she tries to take revenge on him?
Revenge? I don't think so. Avenge, maybe. But answer me this. What would be the most horrible thing that Pinky could do to him? What could possibly bring him the most pain imaginable?
Batman looked at her as he pulled in the cave and said,
Fracture his femur.
Celestia raised an eyebrow and said,
Sanity. Think about it. Only then would he be able to comprehend the pain and suffering he's caused. Only then would he have to put in the effort to change his image. Only then would he appreciate everything he's been missing in life.
Alfred was rather surprised when he came down at the Batcave the next day to tidy up after Bruce's nocturnal wanderings. Bruce was lying there in his chair, sleeping like a log. He was wearing all of his costume except for his mask, which was draped over the back of his chair as he snored lightly. As Alfred dusted off the console, he glanced at Bruce and found that he was wearing a calm smile as he slept. Alfred raised an eyebrow, but stayed silent and kept dusting. While he was cleaning some of the larger trophies, he noticed that the Batcave seemed brighter than usual. There was the roar of an engine as Robin drove in after a long night of patrol.
Honestly, said Alfred, how do you intend to study for your chemistry test this week if you're out till all hours of the night?
Dick removed his helmet and grinned. It's okay, Alfred. I glanced at some of the chemistry exhibits while I was chasing Catwoman through the museum. A little studying later, today, a quick power nap, and I'll be fine. Hey, does the cave seem brighter to you?
I did notice that, Master Dick,
said Alfred, opening a glass case and dusting off Mr. Freeze's ice gun.
What would you surmise to be the cause?
I don't know, said Dick, looking around. Hey, Bruce? Bruce opened his eyes and looked over at Dick.
What is it, Robin?
Does the cave seem different to you?
Maybe a little brighter. I wouldn't call that a problem. Alfred, what time is it?
10 after 8, sir.
Perfect. I've got a golf game scheduled for 9 with one of the doctors at Arkham.
How are things going there? Asked Dick, taking off his mask and stretching.
Things should start turning around pretty soon,
said Bruce, removing his cape and cowl and donning a light gray cashmere sweater.
I'll bring the car around at 11:30, sir.
Thank you, Alfred. Although I think our game might last a little longer than that.
I'm expecting a good deal of conversation, sir.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Joker let out a mournful scream from his parched throat and slouched into the corner. Pinky slowly lowered herself onto 4 hooves again and approached the shuddering heap of tattered humanity. When she was directly in front of him, she could see that he was crying.
All I ever wanted was to make people happy,
he said in a quiet whisper.
I win,
said Pinky, narrowing her eyes and smiling.
Yes, you have,
said the Joker.
Thank you.
Pinky smiled, wrapped her hooves around the poor man, and let him weep freely into her mane. Neither of them knew how long they stayed like that, but when Pinky let go and looked down, she didn't recognize the man who was holding her.
Will you be okay?
She asked, looking into his eyes.
I know you've probably got a lot weighing on your conscience.
I'll be fine. Thank you, Pinkie Pie. I owe my sanity to you. Now I can start trying to rebuild my life.
You think you can?
I can try. Before you came along, I couldn't even do that.
Chapter 8. For the Better.
Excellent shot, Bruce,
said Dr. Alejandro as the ball landed in the hole.
I try, said Bruce, grinning. Sometimes I get lucky.
I know what you mean. Last week, some of the inmates were nearly bouncing off the walls. Now, I'm constantly getting calls from Arkham saying that they're calm as anything. Sometimes things just click.
As he said this, Alejandro tapped the ball, and it went smoothly through the grass to land in the cup.
So it's true what I've been hearing about Arkham lately?
asked Bruce, lining up for his next job.
I don't know what you could have heard, but if it was anything about the inmates coming down, I'd say that the rumors have been confirmed. They seem to be better adjusted, more polite, happier, and some of the more normal ones, I'd almost say that they're nicer than some of my neighbors.
How's Harvey?
Surprisingly well. In fact, he's actually stopped carrying around a coin of his.
What about the more dangerous ones? Ivy, Croc, the Joker?
You seem rather curious.
Why shouldn't I be? They are people after all.
You're right. Sometimes I think people forget that about them. They're actually doing better as well. Ivy has taken to meditation. Croc has started bird watching, and even the Joker seems less violent than before.
Any idea why the sudden change?
Honestly, Bruce, I'm just as confused as you are. Most of them keep talking about these little visitors in the night, but we can't get much out of them except a name. Maybe a brief story or two. Croc calls his visitor Shy. He says she's the one who got him interested in birdwatching. As for the Joker, he doesn't seem to mention his little visitor at all. And if we bring it up, he gets very quiet. I'd be worried about them if it weren't for the change in their behavior. If these little visitors do have something to do with it, I'd love 100 more of them.
You're not going to be releasing anyone from Arkham yet, are you?
Don't worry, Bruce. We don't let anyone out until we're 110% sure that they are sane and ready to reintegrate into society.
Good. Just so I know I can sleep a little safer tonight, said Bruce, sending the ball flying.
Dr. Alejandro exited the elevator and greeted one of his nurses.
How are the patients doing today?
Honestly, Doctor, I don't even know what to say. We let them out for their free time today, and Scarecrow started a square dance a couple of minutes later.
A square dance?
They turned on the radio. Since then, they've all been laughing and singing. Listen!
Dr. Alejandro put his clipboard down and walked up to the window to see the inmates' free time area. Poison Ivy was sitting on the floor cross-legged doing some kind of chant, while Dr. Crane was sitting off to one side eating an apple, and Two-Face, Harley, Croc Bane, and another inmate, Alejandro couldn't identify, were singing a song.
Who's the one in the center?
Asked Dr. Alejandro.
I said the same thing when I saw him this morning.
Said the nurse.
It's the Joker.
Alejandro's eyes widened in shock as he recognized that the person in the center of it all, singing the loudest, with the happiest smile on his face, was indeed the Joker.
Because I want to make you smile, 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 smile. I do. It fills my heart with sunshine all the while. Yes, it does. Because I really need to smile, smile, smile. From these happy friends of mine.
The song stopped playing on the radio and the announcer came on.
That was the Smile song, as you probably all know.
She said,
We're gonna be taking a short break now to,
Another more cheerful voice broke in saying,
Recalibrate the song thingies. No need to worry though, nothing suspicious is happening. Perfectly normal radio-y things going on here.
Right, well, we'll be back right after this.
The radio cut to static, and the inmates sat down and started talking pleasantly amongst themselves.
What happened to him?
Asked Dr. Alejandro, still staring at the Joker.
We have no idea, but whatever it is, it must have happened sometime last night.
The little visitors.
Said Alejandro under his breath.
Well, what was that, Doctor?
Asked the nurse.
Have the inmates said anything more about their little visitors?
The nurse was taken aback for a second, then shook her head.
No. However, while the Joker did mention something about being saved last night, he never mentioned who did the saving.
Have they said anything out of the ordinary besides singing? Any unusual phrases or new names?
The nurse looked at the inmates for a second and then said,
Now that you mention it, several of them have accidentally dropped a rather unusual pronoun here and there.
What pronoun?
They replace the second part in words like nobody, anybody, and everyone, and someone with the word pony.
You mean like any pony?
Yes.
Strange. Keep an eye out for the next time they say it and ask them about that.
Certainly, Doctor.
Oh, and by the way, nurse,
Yes?
you are looking lovely today.
Why, thank you, Doctor.
The nurse left with a smile on her face, and Dr. Alejandro stood looking at the inmates for a couple more minutes. He never even noticed when he started to smile. Things really were changing for the better. Batman stood on the ledge, looking out over the city. From now on, it would be safe from the lunatics who had once been its greatest threat. Maybe even he had learned something in all of this, but he'd never tell the White One that. There was a rush of wind, and someone stepped up behind him. "How have things been going, Bruce?" Batman narrowed his eyes.
He knows I hate it when he called me Bruce out in the open like that.
And a smile spread across his face.
Things have actually been doing better. Say, you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, would you?
"What kind of favor?"
Nothing that large.
"There's a small box up at my place.
I was wondering if you could keep it safe for me for a little while. Somewhere I could get to it easily. Your apartment, maybe."
"Okay, Bruce. That shouldn't be a problem." The figure launched himself in the building with his usual flamboyance and flew off towards Wayne Manor, red cape flapping in the wind.
"Good luck,"
said Batman under his breath, trying to hold back a smile.
"You'll need it."
love to see the story post on EQD. What could it be? New worlds are waiting there for me, because this show's fandom keeps things from getting slow. And now I know there are so many different places I can go, but I just cannot believe that with all these brilliant stories, people find the time to rant and rage about constructives and shit and Mary Sue. Most they ignore the fact that it's just a show. I just want to make them see, but I'm probably unique, cause it's all just fan, it's all fan-based to me. Yeah, it's all fan-based to me. I'll stay on top, there's really no time left to stop. Each day I'll read, and a good time's nearly guaranteed. But I won't mislead, just grab a pony pick to meet your fiction need. But I just cannot believe that with all these brilliant stories, people find the time to rant and rage about constructives and shit and Mary Sue. Most they ignore the fact that it's just a show. I just want to make them see, but I'm probably unique, cause it's all just fan, it's all fan-fic to me. Yeah, it's all fan-fic to me. I will go ahead and read, doesn't matter who you are. Just go and tell a story, show just what you need in store, and then you'll leave them all begging for more. But I just cannot believe that with all these brilliant stories, people find the time to rant and rage about Nutcases, chicken bricks, and Mary Sue. They ignore the fact that it's just a show. I just wanna make them see, but I'm probably unique, 'cause it's all just fan and it's all fanfic. I'm just getting I really like to see is us friends just living in harmony. But then that frightening me to be the one who caused the problem of this total animosity. We gotta keep the thing that makes us great. Just continue to love and tolerate. Then I hope you'll see, 'cause it's all just fan. It's all fanfic to me.